Hi, beautiful people. How are ya? I hope you're having a great day. Well, with fall quickly approaching, I am a bit excited about getting my house ready for winter. I have put out fall decorations, so that's fun. I'll probably share that in an upcoming video. And I'm working on decluttering one of our spare bedrooms. It's become a catch-all for everything. So I'll probably share that process too. It's slow. I can only handle so much at a time. So it's going to take a while. But today, I want to talk about chronic pain and fibromyalgia and the effect it has on our immune system. So let's define chronic pain. It's pain that lasts for more than 3 months. It's usually a broad diagnosis. It can be aching, throbbing, burning, or stiffness. It can be from an autoimmune disease, an injury, an infection, or trauma. Is not usually widespread, but this term is often used to describe fibromyalgia. So let's define fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is a chronic disorder characterized by widespread musculoskeletal and joint pain, accompanied by stiffness, fatigue, sleep, memory, and often digestive issues. Pain in the face or jaw is common, as well as tingling or numbness in the hands and feet. Anxiety and depression are also common. I'm not going to get into all of the symptoms of fibromyalgia. We've done many videos on that. And I have recently done a video on how fibromyalgia is diagnosed. You can see that here. I just want to clarify that there is a difference in the definition of chronic pain and fibromyalgia. You can have chronic pain and only have pain in your leg, like from a car accident, or you may have a nerve injury, like in your spine, and this pain is chronic because it's lasted more than 3 months and then continues to cause pain. I just had an EMG and I have an old injury in my L4 and S1. However, I still have to be careful because I can reactivate that pain. And for some, regional pain turns into widespread pain all over the body. And that pain in my lower back was chronic for a while. It had lasted longer than 3 months, but with physical therapy and learning how to move has diminished that pain. Now it's just if I do something I shouldn't do. We know that the nervous system interacts with the immune system and the body responds according to that interaction. Chronic pain and continuous stress can affect immune function. When continuous pain is experienced, a stress response is triggered and can lead to long-term stress in the body. This stress response is a combination of changes in neurological, endocrine, and immune systems that help the body perceive danger. Cortisol, a hormone, rises when stress continues and is associated with the decrease of the function of the immune system. Quote, chronic pain may reprogram the functioning of genes in the immune system, according to previous research in laboratory mice at McGill University. In fact, the way DNA is marked in special immune cells known as T cells, which we're going to talk about, seem to change chronic pain promptly, while it is still unclear how many of these changes affect T cells' ability to fight infection. These key infection fighters appear to be closely linked with changes in chronic pain and DNA markers, unquote. That's very interesting. T and B lymphocyte cells are huge participants in fighting infection that threaten our healthy immune system. T cells protect us from infection by wiping them out. They help B cells to create autoantibodies that bind to a virus to prevent it from entering a normal cell and causing infection. And just think about the other chronic diseases that are linked to fibromyalgia that impact the immune system's effectiveness, like RA, lupus, or Sjogren's. And then when the body is inactive, other changes occur in our body, like weight gain, increased blood pressure, which can lead to cardiovascular disease, stroke, or diabetes. We must do our best to be active without overwhelming our nervous system and causing anxiety issues. And learn to reprogram the way that we eat so that we eat healthy foods. I'm a huge proponent of deep breathing exercises, meditation, gentle yoga, which I still want to try, but I know it's helpful. It's all over the literature. Therapy, watch a funny movie, float in a swimming pool, get fresh air, gentle exercises, and soft touch. Everything we do for our body will affect our mind. It's a reciprocal process. But these practices won't heal us, but they'll help us feel better in the short term. We do what we've got to do, and over a period of time, they will help us in the long term. So that's what we do know, and these things have been long established in the literature. More recently, though, we're learning more about specific IgG antibodies. There are some IgGs that target antigens at nodes and synaptic structures, which cause pain directly without inflammation by enhancing neuronal excitability. This is believed to occur in fibromyalgia. And in other research, IgGs heighten the pain indirectly by T-cell mediated inflammation. It appears that people with chronic pain have a different profile of circulating T cells compared to controls, and they play a huge role in the transition from acute pain to chronic pain. Inflammatory pain, like from RA, and nerve-induced neuropathic pain, like from diabetes, neuropathy, or nerve root compression in the spinal cord, can also accompany fibromyalgia. And so I hope you'll take a moment and like this video and subscribe. About half of you are not subscribed to watch my videos. You can skip this chapter if you find biology boring. If not, it might help you with the next chapter concerning fibromyalgia. HLA, human leukocytic antigen, is the human version of MHC, major histocompatibility complex. We have 3 classes of HLA, 1, 2, and 3. Those T helper cells, DR4 positive, interact with class HLA2. Helper lymphocyte T cells are called CD4 positive because of the CD4 glycoprotein on their cell surface. They recognize antigens with MHC/HLA class II molecules and are only then activated. They recruit other cells by helping B lymphocytes and antibody production of B cells and activate cytotoxic T cells called CD8 positive and macrophages. CD8 positive T cells interact with those MHC-HLA class I cells. So CD4 positive T cells help B cells fight bacteria and kill the virus by activating CD8 positive T cells. APC, antigen-presenting cells, are phagocytic cells. They engulf and ingest foreign material. And when this occurs, T cell activation occurs. New research is emerging to explain the adaptive immune cells, in particular T cells, a type of white blood cell, in the physiopathology of fibromyalgia. There appears to be a connection between the psychological, neurological, and inflammatory symptoms in fibro. Initially, fibro was defined as a chronic pain disorder that occurred in highly stressed individuals. Now we know that there isn't a single trigger. Yes, emotional situations can worsen our symptoms, but that can happen to anybody. And so there is an alteration in central pain pathways called sensitization that underpins all of this. The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or HPA, is considered to play a role in the establishment of central sensitization. Is it the whole picture? Researchers don't think so. Pain in fibro involves neuroinflammatory processes triggered by mast cells and microglia. In a 2020 study, genetic predisposing factors that may influence the response to serotonin may be associated with T cell dysregulation was defined in fibromyalgia patients through the serotonin transporter 5-HTT-LPR, and all patients were low in serotonin. There are short and long allelic variants. Some variants are still being discovered, but for our discussion, when a fibro patient has a homozygosis of two long allelic variants related to CD4 positive, they showed increased activated T cells. For the short alleles, there were also elevated T lymphocytes. Quote, "This suggests that there are no clear differences in the activation state of CD4 positive T cells in patients expressing the different allelic variants, but there's a general increase in CD4 positive T cells expressing intermediate or late activation markers in patients with fibromyalgia." And that wording of markers is what caught my attention. In another study, an increased T helper type signature in fibromyalgia patients was found. There was a significant increased production of two specific cytokines, IFNY and TNF-A. Serotonin was also low in all participants. So basically, the results of these studies indicate a general trend toward higher levels of inflammatory cytokines producing CD4 positive cells in fibromyalgia patients. compared to those with unrelated diseases. There is an increase in the function and percentage of CD4 positive T cells with a Th1 signature in fibromyalgia patients. Signature. I like hearing those words. The Th1 system consists of killer T cells, T helper cells, and T suppressor cells. But more research is needed. It's unclear how the changes in T lymphocyte subset distribution and in the activation state can be linked to stress and pain in fibromyalgia. Scientists just know there is something going on. And it is known that trauma and infection can precede the onset of autoimmunity. And since now it is proposed that fibromyalgia has an autoimmune component to it, the trauma and infection could precede fibro too. In a 2019 study, researchers highlighted the role of 3 mechanisms of the pathogenesis of fibro: autoimmunity, neuroinflammation, and small fiber neuropathy. For ME/CFS, these researchers stated there is an overlap with fibromyalgia and a pathogenesis of autoimmune hypothalamopathy. But it isn't just cytokines that are increased. Certain chemokines have also been shown to have higher levels, while others are decreased compared to healthy controls. But scientists are just beginning to unravel the role of T cells in the development and maintenance of fibromyalgia symptoms. So I'll end with this quote. However, it also emerges that in most cases, altered frequency and or polarization of T cells, mainly in the CD4 positive T cell compartment, is observed in patients. The presence of immune-mediated comorbid disease, the detection of autoantibodies, and the female prevalence, together with data suggesting an association with viral infections, have suggested that in some patients, autoimmune responses occur. However, it is also possible that autoimmunity may represent a side event to the primary alteration of the central pain pathways that finally results in the increase of inflammatory mediators at systemic level, unquote. So I hope you learned something, and I thank you, beautiful people, for all the support that you've given me so far. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you. We have 3 classes of it. Indicated general I don't know.